These raspberry and lemon mini cakes are so light and delicate, but you won't believe how easy they are to make. Hi, I'm Astrid from the Sweet Rebellion, and today we're going to be making some lemon and raspberry mini cakes. What I love about these little cakes is they look super fancy, but you don't need any fancy equipment to make them. We're just going to be making a sheet cake and then use a cookie cutter to cut out rounds and stack them. These little cakes are so cute, and I think they look so much nicer than a clunky slice of cake. They work really well for a spring celebration, garden parties, or a special tea. So to start off with, we're going to make a delicious lemon sheet cake, and these are the ingredients that you'll need. 150 grams of butter, 170 grams of sugar, 2 large eggs, 2 lemons, 125 ml of milk, 150 grams of flour, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and a teaspoon of baking powder. This recipe follows the creaming method. We're going to start by creaming together our butter and sugar very well for about 5 minutes, then add the zest of 2 lemons and beat in 2 large eggs. The next step is to add our tablespoon of lemon juice to our milk. The reason we do this is that the acidity will help to break down the long strands of gluten that form when we add our flour and result in a much more moist and tender cake. Adding lemon juice also adds a lovely tangy flavor and helps with the browning of our cake. The real lemon flavor comes from the zest because that's where the lemon oils are. Super sciencey and technical, but also really yummy. Then we're going to sift our flour and baking powder together and add this to our creamed mixture, alternately with our curdled milk. Now it's time to pour our batter into our tin. So I'm using a 25 by 38 centimeter baking tin, which is your standard size, and I've just greased and lined it with some baking paper so that our cake doesn't stick. This is going to go into the oven now at 180 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. While our cake's in the oven, we're going to make a raspberry mascarpone filling, and this is what you'll need. 125 grams of fresh raspberries, 250 grams of mascarpone, 60 grams of icing sugar, 125 ml of cream, and to decorate, extra raspberries, some edible flowers, and some little lemon wedges. To make our raspberry mascarpone filling, we're going to start by pureeing our raspberries. So you can either add them to a food processor or blender, or what I'm going to do today is use a stick blender. Then we're going to sieve the puree so that we remove all the seeds, and we're going to beat our mascarpone and icing sugar together. Lastly, we're going to add the cream until it's nice and smooth and thick, and then gently fold in our raspberry puree. Be really careful when you're whipping up your filling that you don't overmix it. Rather go on low speed because mascarpone has a tendency to split quite quickly. Now that we've whipped up our filling, we're going to add our raspberry puree. And although it doesn't look like much, these raspberries are packed with flavor, so a little bit goes a long way. Now that our cake has come out of the oven, we're just going to let it cool in the tin for about 10 minutes and then invert it onto a cooling rack to cool completely before we cut out our rounds. I'm using a 7 centimeter cookie cutter to cut out my cake layers. I can get 15 rounds out of this size cake, which will make 5 triple layer cakes. Once you've cut out your rounds, you'll have quite a lot of scraps left over. You can either snack on these or you can pop them in the freezer and save them to make cake pops. Keep an eye on my channel for my next video where I'm going to show you how to make some really cool Halloween cake pops. So now we're ready to decorate our cakes. I'm going to work with one layer at a time and add a bit of filling in between each. Then I'm going to use some raspberries, lemon wedges and edible flowers to decorate them. You can go as simple or extravagant as you like. See how creative you can get and remember to tag me on Instagram. Once you've decorated your mini cakes, they'll need to go into the fridge for at least an hour for the filling to firm up. I've just done a thin layer of filling around the outside of my cakes to create that naked cake look. However, if you prefer, you could also do a thicker layer of filling to coat them fully. And there you have it, my raspberry and lemon mini cakes. You can find this recipe in my book or on the blog. If you're looking to buy my recipe book, you can contact me directly or find them at your local poetry store. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can see what we're going to do with our leftover cake scraps.